Alright, so here's the deal, YouTubers. Where it tends to move forward with AEW Dark results. I just want to skim through the results of the matches, and that's all I'm going to do where it tends to that. And I'll explain everything where it tends to moving forward with the All Elite Wrestling reviews for it, folks. We'll come to making sense in a way once I get to them, and my reasonings and my thoughts about it, and whatever have you. So, that being said, let's get right into it. So, ladies and gentlemen on YouTube, it's the Natural Born Thriller, and welcome everyone to All Elite Wrestling Reviews, where it pertains to giving you quick results of AEW Dark and also results of AEW Dynamite, where it pertains to the fallout of what happened at AEW Revolution 2021. So, obviously, we're going to start with AEW Dark from March 9th, 2021, were the results that took place in Jacksonville, Florida, in Daily's Place. And your commentators were Excalibur, Taz, and Anthony Ongogo. So let's get right into the matches, and then I'll get to the Talking About Wrestling matches that was there. And here we go. So we got Powerhouse Hobbs with Hook defeating Angel Fashion. SCU's Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels defeating Arcelo, I'm assuming. Arcelo and Danny Limelight. Again, SCU defeating them. Pretty Peter Avalon, Cesar Bononi, and Ryan Nemeth defeats Aaron Solo, Brick Ridge, I'm seeing that side his last name, and Dean Alexander in the six-man tag team match. Lee Johnson defeats Baron Black. The Dark Order, Colt Cabana, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, and Alex Reynolds defeats Aaron Fry, D3, John Cruz, and Farley Morales in the 8-man tag team match. The Varsity Blondes, Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. defeats Cameron Stewart and Rising. Diamante defeats Savannah Dorn. QT Marshall defeats Fuego del Sol. Surprised this wasn't the main event, by the way. Just want to point that out, because it was a good match. Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford defeats Carly Bravo with Sean Dean in his corner. Abaddon defeats Catalina Perez, who is the Queen Pin. And finally, Santana Ortiz, Proud and Powerful, representing the Inner Circle, defeats Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. Total amount of wrestling was 11 matches, and my overall rating for the show, I'm going to go with a 6.5 out of 10. 6.5. And that'll conclude your quick results where it pertains to AEW Dark. See, I'll tell you what's going to be quick. So now you can move forward for the next results, which is AEW Dynamite results, the show from March 10th, 2021. And this will be the fallout of what happened at AEW Revolution 2021 of everything that, well, most likely everything that transpired on this show. But the main focus one is about what happened with the explosion barbed wire death match, which we'll get to when we get to it. But they were in their place in Jacksonville, Florida, with your commentators Excalibur, good old Jim Ross, and Tony Schiavone. So the opening match featured Ray Phoenix, and who's being accompanied by Pac, as they go up against, well, Ray Phoenix go up against, I meant to say, Matt Jackson, being accompanied by Nick Jackson. Basically building up for the match for where they're gonna have that match, well, pertains to the tag team championships, because Ray Phoenix and Pac won the Battle Royale from Revolution. Now there's a problem with that too. We'll get to that when we get close to it, when we get to everything that happened moving forward on the AEW shows. But yeah, it was Ray Phoenix with Matt Jackson in the match. Match itself was good, but I didn't really care about the match at all, because I was still at the time upset how everything that had transpired from the Revolution match, main event I should say, where it pertains to the barbed wire explosion that 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 was a botch, obviously. But we'll get to more of that later, though. But the match I thought was good, despite all this the circumstances that was interfering in my excitement coming to the show. At one point, I don't remember how it happened. Oh yeah, Ray Phoenix took out Nick Jackson by accident, and then when Pac was going to to see how Phoenix was doing, because it was some kind of move that happened while Ray Phoenix was kind of whatever, and then Matt Jackson takes out Pac, to return the favor in a way, even though Pac didn't do anything. But in the end, it was Ray Phoenix getting the win over Matt Jackson, excuse me, with the Phoenix driver, and that was it. So been up more tensions of the two teams here, and unfortunately about what happened, we'll get to that when we get to that part. But that's going to be a delay, unfortunately. Well, again, when we get close to that edition of AEW, it's going to be becoming more sense of why it's delaying in a way, and why they were moving forward with something else with the Young Bucks. Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley were together for the whole thing happened at Revolution, with the whole explosion thing. Kingston says that when he slid into the ring and tried to protect Moxley, he had a flashback of sitting in the jail cell, that he panicked, that he felt like at this point that he was going to be in jail for a long time, and he blacked out. And that was basically the reason of why he blacked out, for saving Jon Moxley from that explosion that was supposed to happen. Now, Eddie Kingston, he made it sound convincing, because he's very good at that too, where it takes a kind of promo to make you believe what he says. And he does a good job at that, so I'll give him that. He did in a way convince me, in a way. But then Jon Moxley starts talking, and Jon Moxley was joking about it and all and everything. And what does he do to make matters to make things more funny, in his mind and everyone else's mind, of why to make things even more funny of why that whole thing happened with the ball wire. I mean, with the explosion didn't explode the way it should have exploded. He blames Impact Wrestling paid for it, and Eddie Kingston agreed with him. Yeah, no idea how I was pissed off with that. Like, really? You're gonna blame Impact Wrestling? I did not like that. I didn't think it was funny at all. But I'm pretty sure for those that don't watch Impact Wrestling anymore, and for those who don't like Impact Wrestling in general, they probably thought that was funny. Which I've seen a lot of those people that thought that was funny. Yeah, it's funny, right? That Impact Wrestling paid for that, even though they already paid for it. But it's Senator Jon Moxley decided to just throw it in there. I don't understand why he had to throw that in there in the first place. Of all the promos that Jon Moxley has been cutting on AEW, to me this was not on the level where I was excited for his promo at all. So that's going to lead to more programs with Jon Moxley, alongside with Eddie Kingston being partners now. So that's another thing too now. I thought Jon Moxley was going to take time off, but apparently that's not the case at all. So Jon Moxley will stick around. And on top of that, he's going to be with Eddie Kingston. So now they're going to be a tag team. So basically, we're downgrading Jon Moxley away from the main event scene to team up with Eddie Kingston, where eventually they're going to be in the future tag team champions. We'll see. Based on what happened with Eddie Kingston, though, moving forward, what happened to Eddie Kingston, we'll get to that when we get to it. But I don't see that happening anytime soon, because I'm sure it's an angle of it, but still, we'll get to it when we get to it. So yeah, basically, Eddie Kingston went from heel to babyface, because he saved Jon Moxley. So that's the whole thing with him being with the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. Done, over, and we'll get to them later on too. By the way, I think it was during this show too. By the way, but we'll get to that. It was either during this show or it was during BET. I mean BTE, excuse me. BET. I always get confused with that too, by the way. BTE, I meant to say, being the elite. But again, I digress. Moving on. Cody Rhodes comes out with Arn Anderson. Before he gets this match, he went to a child who's there, and basically the child there was handicapped in a way, some type of disability. This reminds me of John Cena, and I do not want anyone like Cody Rhodes chance to me looking at Cody Rhodes. The last thing I want to see Cody Rhodes is to be reminded of a John Cena. So yeah, I kind of didn't like that, but then again, that doesn't happen that very often in AEW. But just the way it was done, I say to myself, wait a minute, why is it? Why do we care about this? Why should we care about this? And then I come to the conclusion that Cody Rhodes is not going to turn heel at all. The plans of Cody Rhodes of turning heel is never going to happen. Same thing with John Cena over the years too, by the way. But people are saying that John Cena's going to turn heel. Never happened. And now we're on the same boat here, in the same situation with Cody Rhodes in the AEW, where after seeing this, and before that's the whole thing with him going to the child and everything, giving him his weight belt, by the way, his custom made weight belt, and we're all thinking maybe Cody Rhodes is going to eventually turn heel and everything. He's going to turn heel eventually with Arn Anderson, but that it's not happening at all. And based on everything that's been transpiring after everything that's happened, he ain't turning heel at all. He's not going to be a heel, period. Especially with what they got him and Brandi Rhodes doing too, which we'll get to when we get to as well. And I'll give you my thoughts about that too when we get to it. But there's no chance in hell that Cody Rhodes is ever going to turn heel because how his character is being portrayed on TV. That's never going to happen. I'm convinced now that Cody Rhodes is being like a John Cena in AEW, that he's never going to turn heel. But I'll give this Cody Rhodes to this though in AEW. At are not doing this constantly like how WWE did it before with John Cena, because that was ridiculous. Anyways, but we get to Cody Rhodes getting this match against someone named Seth Gardis. I say to myself, who is he? I probably don't remember him because I think he wrestled one time on Dark, and I probably didn't remember him afterwards. But Cody Rhodes, just beat somebody figure four, and that was it. It was like a minute. Like, wait a minute, why does this even have to happen? There was no point of this. There was no point of this. What was the point of this match? I did not understand that at all. Why this match has to happen. Also, Cody Rhodes just cut a promo. Also, he gets interrupted by Penta El Zero Miedo on Spanish commentary. He cuts him off, speaking in Spanish and everything, and he's got Alvarez with him. Alvarez is also on commentary, basically translating everything that Penta El Zero Miedo is saying, so he could translate for Cody Rhodes to understand, since Cody Rhodes doesn't understand Spanish. But basically, this is the translation. Penta El Zero Miedo says to Cody to shut up. It says that it is 1,000 times better. Penta, he's 1,000 times better than him, and is using the Spanish commentator Alvarez. I forgot how I say his last name, but Alvarez is the one speaking for him. He says that if Cody is the prince of pro wrestling, then Penta El Zero Miedo is the lord of Lucha Libre. And he starts talking in English. It's Penta El Zero Miedo talking in English now. Said that Cody lost at Revolution, but if it was a 1-on-1 match, he would have lost more than that. And they start talking in Spanish and everything. And he says, and Alvarez, by the way, translate, saying that Cody is lucky that he didn't focus more on hurting his arm more than he did, or he wouldn't even be able to pick up his newborn baby. And this triggered Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes went after Penta El Zero Miedo. They start fighting and everything. And they also get a pull apart, and that was it. So basically, they had Penta El Zero Miedo turn heel, and on top of that, they had him move away from Pac and Rey Fenix until things change. Which we'll get to when we get to it, but still, a lot of circumstances in the way of it that changed plans. But we'll get to when we get to it. But after seeing this, I see myself. I like it. Penta Zero is turning heel, and his next program is going to be with Cody Rose. It's gonna be something for Penta Zero to get over to get over as a singles wrestler and all that. So we're moving forward to being a singles wrestler, and I thought it was a great idea until we got to what happened on the prior episode of Dynamite, which we'll get to when we get to it, which it happened on St. Patrick's Day Smash. But we'll get to that. Sting comes out, and we're wondering what's next for Sting after he and Darby Allin took care of Brian Cage and Ricky Starks from Revolution for the street fight they had, which was great. Says that he puts over Darby Allin as a dangerous man, and says that he puts his life on the line and takes risks every week. Says that when you combine the with the Stinger, and you place with the measuring place, you have magic and everything. It's basically that's some a dream team that creates magic. Also, in the Murderhawk Monster, Lance Archer comes out with Jake Roberts. He interrupts Sting, which is always a running theme now. That wherever Sting's trying to cut a promo, or wherever he's it's about to talk and everything, he gets interrupted every time. So Archer interrupts Sting, saying that he is going to take time since AEW won't give him time, and says that he didn't need a ladder to prove himself that he is the face of the revolution. Says that if things don't change, then he will make he will take much more time. Then looks over at Sting, and then then nothing to say about that after that, and then that was it. That was just it for the Hell thing. And then Rick Roberts said something. He says Sting or whatever, and he said more than that too. But I really couldn't make out what he's saying because but by looking at this, I see myself, this is gonna be the next program now, where they basically left us all in confusion, like is it gonna be Lance Archer versus Sting, or maybe Lance Archer wants to face Darby Allin, or Jake Roberts wanted to get involved. I don't know. It was confusing how they do this too, and we don't know how they continue on with this too and all after everything has transpired too, which I understand why that was changed in a way, but we'll get to that when we get to it as well. More into upcoming reviews, but it was confusing. So that's gonna be next for Sting, I guess, but we'll see if they do follow with that plan. QT Marshall. He says that him splitting up with Dustin Rhodes was a lapse in judgment, and then some audio issue. Yeah, basically, this is where things went downhill a little bit. Audio issues was happening during this whole thing. I believe it was like some crowd noise of the NBA game that happened on that same day that AEW Dark Dynamite was doing. I don't recall if it was like on the TBS or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I really didn't look into that much, but I did hear that happening, and then basically that they'll have issues with that for the rest of the show, not the entire show, but the rest of the show until we get to when it starts getting better. Because I did blame AEW for that too, by the way, and I want to apologize for that to AEW, because I was still on the mindset of being pissed off about what happened at Revolution with the whole explosion thing. So basically, I was latching out on AEW for the purpose of latching them out for something that had nothing to do with them. It was TNT's fault that the whole audio issue that's happened during this whole thing, and on top of that, it ruined the debut of Ethan Page's debut on Dynamite, where Tyson couldn't promo, because the best thing about Ethan Page, besides of his wrestling, is how good of a talker he is.
he's a good promo. Where he can get over with that alone. And unfortunately, because of the audio issues, that basically ruined a lot of Ethan Page's momentum there, which is him being in AEW. But he has a match against Lee Johnson, and we still have some audio issues with the whole thing. And they had a good match. Lee Johnson and Ethan Page were showing a lot of good showing. QT Marshall, meant to say, was there with Lee Johnson, by the way. Lee Johnson at one point was fearing an injury, and QT Marshall was not happy about that. It was a knee injury, by the way. So QT Marshall didn't look happy about that. That Lee Johnson, already showing some weakness. I guess, in his, based on his character of his body language, is that he sees that as a sign of weakness, and he doesn't like someone that he trains to show any signs of weakness. So Ethan Page took advantage of it. He went for the Eagle's Edge, which is the Boros toss, crucifix. That's basically what it is, which is good, and he got the win. After the match, Ethan Page continued to beat up on Lee Johnson, while QT Marshall just stands there and does nothing, and he starts getting ready to leave. Dustin Rhodes comes in for the save. Dustin Rhodes still, wondering what's your problem, QT, and everything, and that was it. So yeah, they have built, there are building something up with that one whole thing, folks, and we'll get to when we get to it as well. I'll give my thoughts about that too and all about it. But as to this review right now, why should I care about it? Why should I even care? Because when they first did this on Revolution, I like QT Marshall, turning on Dustin Rhodes, and then eventually he's gonna turn on the rest of the Nightmare family. Do you care? Do I care? At first, I didn't care, because at the end of the day, how's this going to benefit us? Moving forward, watching AEW, how's it going to what's this going to lead to with QT Marshall doing all this? Is he could be the guy to become a champion in AEW? I don't see that at all, but maybe that's not the idea at all. Maybe it's saying for QT Marshall to do a lot more for the younger guys, which we'll get to when we get to how it all transpire. But that's all I gotta say from there. Adam Page, he shows up with the zero turn lawnmower that he bought with Matt Hardy's money, and the Dark Order comes in. They start riding on it, except for 5, because they hate 5. And one of them fell, by the way. I couldn't make out who it was, but one of them fell for the lawnmower, because obviously not all of them could fit on there, as impossible for anyone to fit on there. But whatever. I thought it was funny. Christian Cage, he's going to be coming out to cut a promo with Tony Schiavone, basically an interview. All of a sudden, Kenny Omega comes out, and Don Callis says that Kenny Omega and he called the shots around here, so they are they're taking the new guy's time, and Dallas calls that Revolution went all according to plan. Basically, with the whole thing what happened at with the whole explosion thing. Omega says that maybe not everything, and yeah, exactly. Well, apparently, Kenny Omega at the time when the box happened, he was not happy about that. How this is what I read. He was pissed off. He was livid when it didn't go as the explosion should have went. And I don't blame him. But this excuse what they did on here. Well, let's get to what they did here. Don Callis says that explosion not heard around the world. Excuse me. Says that he and Kenny Omega have been blamed for the do of the explosion. Said that he will neither confirm nor deny that they had anything to do with it, but they will confirm how happy it made them to have been able to take away something the fans wanted to see. No shit. Because on American soil, we respecting an explosion, like how New Japan, not New Japan Pro Wrestling, because New Japan Pro Wrestling never did this type of match. But when it says to Japan, Japanese wrestling, that does these type of matches, from where promotions they do that. Those explosions were insane. Now I'm not saying those explosions would have killed you, or anything, obviously, but at least they had more explosion than what they did out here. And again, it was a botch. I'll give them that. It was a botch that should have been been taken care of, by the way. And by the way, the audio did got better, by the way. I don't know when it happened, but I'm assuming it happened either before the lawnmower part or after the lawnmower part of when it takes that whole thing. But it did got better though. So TNT did took care of that. So I can't remember the Goobers came out there too. Oh yeah, actually they did. Yeah, they did. They came out there too. So they keep talking about this whole thing. Eddie Kingston comes out. He comes out and basically Don Callis talks to Eddie Kingston, and Eddie Kingston he listens, and basically saying that he always believed him and all that. He always thought he was good and all that and everything. Especially with he in Impact Wrestling, but the problem is, what happened with him of him being fired and all that and everything, it's because he became his worst enemy, whatever, something like that. His own worst enemy, whatever. And all of a sudden, just about Kingston was talking about how he wanted to grab the brass ring so much in Impact Wrestling, but he kept screwing up and everything. Basically, Kingston kept screwing up. Basically that was the way I would term it, by saying Kingston is his worst enemy, because he kept screwing up. And then we get to the 10-second countdown when they all started taking cover. Kenny Omega says to Don Callis, 69 me. And then the countdown ended because they're all covering each other, basically mocking the whole thing of the explosion thing. That's the part where I said where they didn't make things any better with this. It just pissed me off even more. It led to a point where before the show ended, it did if they didn't have what they had in the main event, or the final segment, I should say, of the show, I would have given the show a 0 out of 10 based on what they did here. But because what happened at the final segment, which we'll get to when we get to it, I'll let you know why I didn't give it a 0 out of 10. But does that make any this is the for what they did here? Did that make it any better of the damage control of the botch explosion that they did from Revolution? No. I was too pissed off. So Omega mocks Kingston. He says, "Come on, you want to punch me over or something like that? Yeah, I dare you and everything, right?" And I say to myself, so what happens if he does punch you? Like, what is he gonna get fined? Is he gonna get suspended, fired, or whatever? I don't understand that at all. He's like teasing, mocking, and egging Eddie Kingston to hit him and everything. Like, what's gonna happen? Are you gonna sue him if he touches you? Like, what? I don't understand that. I did not understand that at all. But so of course Eddie Kingston punched him, and then the Goobers attack, and then Moxley comes out, and that was it. So this program will continue on. Also, we get Christian coming out. Christian Cage. He confronts Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, he wanted to shake his hand, and Christian Cage says no. Kenny Omega felt that he was being disrespected. Excuse me. He goes to give him a shot with the belt. Christian unducks it and try to give him the kill switch, but Omega got saved by Don Callis, and Christian Cage picks the belt, right? And then there you go. So basically, that's what Christian is there for. He wants to be the AEW World Champion, and we'll get some more of Christian about what him making sense of why he's there in AEW. So that'll come pretty soon. Trios match. We had Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Nyla Rose, and Maki Ito being accompanied by Vicky Guerrero for Nyla Rose and Reba for Britt Baker, or Rebel, versus Thunder Rosa, the AEW Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida, and Ryo Mizunami. Ryo Mizunami, she is now there for AEW full time now. Good. Unfortunately for Maki Ito, we'll get to her when we get to it. But Maki Ito was there to perform her song, while the Faces came out and attacked Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, Rebel. Vicky Guerrero got involved too. A lot of commercials going on while Maki Ito was still singing her song. And then when she finally finished singing her song, Hikaru Shida then also goes after her. And Maki Ito, with the most weakest mic shot to their head, like this. Oh my god, what am I watching? The match itself, it was alright. Maki Ito lost by Thunder Rosa in the match. After the match though, I'm sorry, I'll think about something else now. After the match, Britt Baker attacks Thunder Rosa with a crutch, and then Vicky Guerrero got some shots in too. I think Nyla did too as well. And then when Nyla Rose and Maki Ito was taking care of Ryo and Shida outside, and there you go. And this whole thing with Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker was going to lead to the match on the next time match show, which is going to be on St. Patrick's Day Slam, which we'll get to it, which is the Lights Out unsanctioned match. And we'll get to that when we get to it. So, here we go. Matt Hardy talks about Adam Page stole from him, but he has more than money. He has more than enough money to for his business through April 1st, and since that Page is adding in a new addition to the. I'm sorry, Matt Hardy says that he's adding a new addition to the group. Excuse me. He introduces the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny to join along with them, as their goal is to destroy the Dark Order. There you go. So yeah, Private Party, Butcher, Blade, Bunny, Matt Hardy. There's no two, the Hybrid 2 I meant to say. Hannibal and Jack Evans, that's done away for already. With those guys, which I don't understand at all why that ended it. I mean, they did their job. They did their jobs too, in a way. And I thought they did a great job with that too. But I guess Matt Hardy got bored with them and got tired with them. So he wanted someone that could get the job done. And Butcher and Blade are the ones that get the job done, I guess. Maybe. The AEW TNT Championship. Darby Allin defends it against the face of the Revolution, who won by grabbing the brass ring, Scorpio Sky. Match happens. Pretty good match between the two, obviously. In the end, it was Darby Allin winning, because of course he did. There was no way he was going to lose, just like that. So Scorpio Sky, basically it was inside cradle, a roll up. That's how Darby Allin won. Darby Allin shows respect to Scorpio Sky. He took offense of that, snaps and attacks Darby Allin, puts him in the heel hook. Referee tries to stop him and all that, and he looks at his hands and he starts smiling. So yeah, this is a heel turn for Scorpio Sky. I mean, they have been teasing it. We're teasing him on commentary. I didn't really notice it at first, but then when I was watching a review of Jason Salma from Salma Sounds Off about how he's acting all heelish on commentary before they got to the Revolution pay-per-view. But does that make it any better? Does that make it even more satisfying that this will eventually lead to a heel turn for Eddie Kings? I mean for Scorpio Sky? No. Still make it any better because they didn't do a good job of it to telegraph Scorpio Sky turning heel. Am I happy he turned heel? Yeah, because at least they'll be doing something a lot with him. But then we'll get to more when we get to it as well. We're just to move forward on this review. and then what they're doing with him too as well, moving forward as well. Again, we'll get to when we get to it, because it makes you question too. How does SCU feel about this too? Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. But we'll get to that. The next time I do the AEW review, not just rotates to give you quick dark results, excuse me. But rotates in Dynamite, which is the theme of the show of St. Patrick's Day's Smash. Eddie Kingston and John Moxley teams up against the Good Brothers. I gotta say about that. Cody Rhodes versus Penta Zero Miedo. I definitely gotta say something about that too. Jurassic Express and Bear Country versus Private Party and The Butcher and The Blade. Jay Cargill in action. And the main event. The first ever women's main event on Dynamite. Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa in the Lights Out unsanctioned match. And you'll hear all about my thoughts about that once we get to that review itself. Alright, Inner Circle. Basically on Revolution they tease saying that there needs to be changes for Inner Circle, right? Circle is going to talk about it. With the rest of the Inner Circle, which is Santana Ortiz, Hager, MJF, but there was no Wardlow for a reason. We'll get to when we get to it. So Roger was talking, MJF cuts him off. It's like he couldn't agree with him more and all that. All of a sudden, we get an interruption of Sammy Guevara. He comes back, and Jericho is like, he's upset why of why he's here and everything. And Sammy Guevara stops him and it's like, just listen to me and everything. Like for once, just listen to me. So he shows him video footage of what happened earlier on that night, on that day, I should say. And basically, he set up a camera, in the dressing room of the Inner Circle, where MJF is is revealing that he's orchestrating a plan with Proud and Powerful and Jake Hager to to betray Chris Jericho, right? So MJF's after everything from there was exposed, MJF's it's like, well, I didn't want you to find out this way, Jericho. And then he says to the other guys, get them, boys. So they teased going to Jericho and Sammy Guevara, only for Hager, Proud and Powerful to swerve MJF instead. And then Jericho lets him know that you think we don't talk about this and all that. You don't think we know what's going on or what you're trying to do. And then he fires MJF of the Inner Circle, push him down. MJF is pleading for his life and everything. Like look like he's whining and crying, whining and crying. And then MJF is like, I wasn't trying to take over the Inner Circle. And then they start building up to saying, because I was too busy building my own. And like, what? So I got mentioned too before we go to the part what happened there. So when MJ said that, because I was too busy building my own, who do I see overselling this in the front row? Maddie Rankowski. The woman that's being trained by Thunder Rosa, the one that I kept saying she's garbage and everything because she looks like she sucks and everything because she's green, that. I don't know how long she's been wrestling, but she look like she's not gonna be improving at all. But based on how I see her performing nowadays, she's all right. I'll say this: she's better than Billy Kay. So I'll give her that. But so like she has a look on her face like oh, like I can't remember how she did it to and all, but it was so fake. Like yeah, you're definitely not gonna win an Oscar for best acting. If anything, you win an Oscar for worst acting right there, because oh my god, she did not show that pretty well. It was terrible. I don't know what was worse, or her acting or her wrestling. Either way, there's no winning. on that part for her. But anyways, but MJF, when he said that, he was too busy building his own. Lights goes out, which it's always been a common theme when it comes to wrestling. Every time something like this happens, lights always goes out. ECW has known to do this too, by the way. Back in the days. Hell, even Ring of Honor does this. Out of the blue. And recently, New Japan Pro Wrestling did it too, by the way. They recently did that, which is the whole thing with Yano, which was funny, with the whole thing with Evo, from Bullet Club. But anyways, so the lights come back on, and there you have FTR, Shawn Spears, the returning Shawn Spears, Tully Blanchard, and Wardlow, all there, surrounding the inner circle, and they beat the living hell out of the inner circle. Hager was taken out by Dexter with a bottle. I think it's like a little bit of bubbly, whatever. Taking out Jake Hager. Shawn Spears takes out Sankavar with a curb stomp in the corner with a steel chair. Wardlow takes out Jericho. FTR brings out handcuffs to handcuff Proud and Powerful as they beat them down, and then Tony Blanchard power drive one of them. The whole thing. The Brain Busters tag team move, finishing move, I should say. Wardlow holds up Jericho as MJF brings out his diamond ring and punches him, even though he didn't really connect with him, but whatever. But this led Jericho bleeding, and then he took the Floyd baseball bat. That's Jericho's baseball bat, Floyd, and busted Jericho open even more. FTR drives Jericho as Wardlow powerbombs him off the stage through tables and everything, which you can see a crash pad there too, by the way, but it's whatever. And that was it. And yeah, so this one is this alone, this final segment that ended the show alone is why I am not going to give this show a 0 out of 10. If anything, this swerve thing that they did here, I did not see that coming. I did not expect this. I expected MGF to have Hager, Wardlow, obviously because Wardlow is always with him, and Proud and Powerful to join along with MJF to take out Jericho and Sankampara. Even though we didn't know Sankampara was going to be there, that's nothing too, by the way. We didn't know Sankampara was going to be there. Yeah, we all thought it was going to be something like that, but instead they did a 180 instead, and they went another route where MJF was building his own faction, and I thought it was great. Now, as far as the name is, I'll review that one when I do the next review of it, because I'll just say this: I'm not a fan of the name. I think the name sucks, but that'll be a cliffhanger for the next review of it, and that will conclude your AEW Dynamite results from March 10th, 2021. By the way, I don't think I mentioned that too, by the way. If I didn't mention that, the date of it, I apologize if I didn't mention the date or not, but that was the date of it. Total My Wrestling were 5 matches, and my overall strength for the show, because of that final segment, 9 out of 10. Again, if it wasn't for that last segment, this show alone would have gotten a 0 out of 10. Despite a few good matches, this would have gotten a 0 out of 10, namely because of how they handled that whole explosion barbed wire botch that they explained. The whole thing with John Moxley, and then the whole thing with Don Callis and Kenny Omega, and then the whole mocking, the whole countdown thing and everything. So, I was this close of giving it a 0 out of 10. But luckily, the final segment changed my mind. Thank God. And that will conclude your all Elite Wrestling reviews, folks. And that being said, thank you for all for watching. For Is Natural Born Driller, saying peace on the streets. Take care.